Good evening, and as promised, Crime TV is here. We already have the spirits playing with the camera, which is a great sign. We are doing Julian Wood this evening. Unfortunately, this little boy was murdered in the Giant Eagle parking lot. And we just kind of want clarity and answers on what was going on with that, or what in the world led to that, or if we could just try to find any clarity here, okay? I have done this reading prior, and the answers that I received are pretty intriguing, okay? And it's unfortunate that we don't get the answers that we want. We don't get the answers that we need, and that's what Crime TV is all about, is clarity. And also spirits that are going to give us more information than what we're getting here in the physical realm, okay? Instantly, when I was starting this reading, I will instantly say that I was getting a very strong sense of anxiety. And I feel that Julian is questioning, why me? Why was I targeted like a 3-year-old? You know what I mean? Like, who really does things like this? And for what purpose was he targeted? Okay? Which is a very great question. I think it's the same. Wow, these are just flying. The same question that we have as well. There's something about the culprit that's very odd and very strange too. A lot of it doesn't make sense. So again, I kind of want to go into it and see if we can make sense of it. All right. It's supposed to be kind of an open and shut case, if you know what I mean. They don't want to drag this on for too long. I'm missing a card. Hold on. There's a lot of emotion in it, and that's the reason why. Please tell me about Julian Wood. Killer may have an item belonging to the victim. Now that's interesting to know. It's very interesting. Of course, the killer is out of the area. Including. Okay. Something's being hidden about this case. Everything is not being revealed. That's very, very interesting to know, because it's very strange. The details in advance. And I did get that in the previous reading as well. Okay. Okay. It may have been something else they're trying to hit her with, or in previous times, something that she has done that will be added to this particular crime. Someone could killer murdering the victim. I want to pick up the culprit here. There's a reason you have to connect everything. That's what solving these crimes are about. It's like a puzzle. You kind of take away what you don't need and you apply what you do need, and then you create this puzzle basically that makes sense. Okay, so I want to get 2 more cards because I'm going to be very interested in what I may get here. Okay, suspects. I get the biggest witness in this case is her mother, the killer's mother. Okay. She's really not disclosing how severely mentally ill her daughter really is and was. Okay. There's things I feel that she's done in the past and things that she had done previous up to this particular crime that is not being revealed. Things are being held back. And that's not good. Just because you are her mother, this would help the case a lot, actually. Now, I also do feel like she's got some kind of mental illness going on, which I feel could possibly be multiple personalities or a form of schizophrenia that she's maybe taking medications for, or split personality, something of that sort where she hears voices, okay? I also feel like she knows how to manipulate her mental illness as well. So it's kind of like, at this time, maybe she's playing a little bit crazier than what she really is, if that makes sense, to get out the severity of her punishment. But is something going on with her? Absolutely. Okay? It does not excuse the behavior. It does not excuse the crime, not whatsoever. I do feel like she was pulling back from the medications that she was supposed to be taking, okay? Because most of these medications have really, really bad side effects. And I feel they were kind of keeping her up and she was kind of unable to sleep, which is aggravating to people who definitely want to get rest, okay? But also, there were probably some other side effects that were very uncomfortable to her, to where she just was not taking them like she should have been. And I think her mother was getting on her about this, okay? Also, prior to the crime itself, I feel like she did call her mother and tell her that she was, well, how would you say, wigging out, okay? She's hearing these voices. They're telling her to do things. But I also feel like this is premeditated prior. Like, I'm going to do this particular crime. The thing I want to find out is, was it like directed towards this family in particular, or was this just to anyone who fit the scenario? You know what I mean? Like, she would choose a victim for this to happen to. But what I feel like is, in that store, they were stalked, they were targeted, okay? But I would like to know for what reason. Very interesting. So I do feel the culprit has suffered many heartbreaks, and definitely in relationships, because due to her mental illness and her actions, okay, it's hard for her to maintain healthy relationships with people, especially love relationships. And I feel leading up to this crime, something happened that kind of triggered a mental break, if you will. And we've heard about things like this, okay? Interesting. All right, let's see where this is kind of headed here. We will go into our darker cards. Well, okay, let's go into Sacred Traveler, because she did travel to this store. All right, and I want to know why this particular location. Interesting on that one. She's going to take a risk. She's taking this adventure to the store. Okay. Let's see here. This is a risk. Something's in her ear that's leading her to do this, that is coercing her. Even though she's a little bit leery, even though she's a little bit anxious about this, something's telling her, you got this. Go for it. So she's going to surrender to it, this voice. She's going to release control. She's going through with this, all right? There's no stopping her. Full force. Well, why was she targeting this particular family? Interesting, you guys. By some miracle, she feels like this will happen. This will get done. I really feel like she thought someone would tackle her or stop her from accomplishing this goal, but she was way too determined. Like, I feel like her adrenaline was on like 5,000, y'all. Okay. She's telling herself, just trust this plan we got, you know? We got this. I'm going to seek out to do this. And with all my power, I'm going to try to make sure it gets done. This is definitely a goal. Something pre-planned, something that she built herself up to do. Okay? And that's interesting. We don't need to go into our crime cards, people, because we know what we're dealing with here. But I do want to see if maybe the mystic red may tell us more clues. But we know what we're dealing with. Wouldn't be surprised if she suffered some type of abuse as a child that led to these mental breakdowns. Okay. So, of course, with the little boy, there's separation, sadness, bitterness, missing you, thinking about you, uncertain future. He feels like his future was taken. Absolutely. He is missing his family. He is separated from his family. There's a lot of sadness with this case and this incident that happened. People are very confused, especially witnesses. Why was this family targeted? Healthy choices. Okay, so at the time, she was very unhappy. Okay, I'm not saying this is an excuse. I'm just saying. You've heard that hurt people hurt people. This is a fact. I've never been happy. I'm not happy. So why should this family be happy? Very bitter. But I keep getting these relationship cards with this particular reading too, which is very strange. So I feel at the time, again, it's speaking of her being in some kind of commitment, some type of relationship that did not work out for her and caused this huge, I get it's a huge mental break. So we're looking for clarity and truth, revelation, honor and protection, determination. So she was very determined. But there are people who want clarity of why she was so determined. And Mother, she did call you and tell you what she was having issues with and what she was kind of seeking out to do that day. But there's a mask hiding true feelings, pretending and delude, gaslight. So maybe, you know, she also told her mother, look, you know, I'm just kind of going through something right now. I'll be okay. And things were not okay. Not okay at all. There's a lot of passion with what she was seeking out to do. A lot of desire. In some crazy way. We're talking about spiritual things, y'all. Okay? She felt this would kind of ease her pain. The things we don't know what's going on around us, you guys. You think you're just going to go get sandwich stuff and whatever from the grocery store, and somebody's in there thinking this way, okay? Which is why we have to stay protected up. I told you guys that. So, taking a chance, risking options, not showing hands. So, now she's convincing everyone, you know, I'm okay. But she's going to the store to take a risk, a chance of not showing her true intentions of what she's planning or getting ready to do. Thinking this action would bring her happiness and joy. And again, we're talking about somebody who's not wired correctly, okay? Cutting ties going on, receive what you need, progression. So she did think she would get away with this. Basically, carry out this act and get out of the way. Cut ties with it, move on. Get the, you know, whatever you're trying to get out of this. And carry on with your life, but it doesn't work that way. You know, you took the life of an innocent child. That is not how this thing is going to go. But to someone not thinking rational, and also someone who's not in their spiritual alignment, of course, they're going to think that way. But it's something still to me that's not satisfying my soul here. There's still like this huge question mark. So what I'm going to do is see if, where is my darker cards at? Because I just feel like a serious dark energy around this ring is starting to make me feel weird. Really, really weird. Because I'm not a dark energy, so going into the killer's energy is, you know, a lot. Mystic Love Oracle. So let's see what we can get from this. Because we keep getting these relationship cards and this and that. And I'm like, what in the... Alright, so let's see what's going on here. I get it was an easy target. Divine connection. This wanted to just, you know, do what she did and ghost and disappear. This was unexpected. Of course, nobody's seen this coming. People are just in the store trying to get some groceries. Of course, they didn't think this would happen. New love, renewed hope. Divine feminine. Travel. Divine intervention is what she needs. Time for reflection. She needs some self-healing, y'all. She some things I feel she went through as a child that's really single parent. And love. Which obviously she has none of that going on. Regrets, mistakes. Only regret she has is getting caught. Missing, thinking of you. So this is Julian's energy coming through. Missing his mother, I believe. Now we're talking about the court case, legal matters. Is the end result, of course, you know. Getting ready to get locked up for this act. But she's done things in the past they're going to find out about. Violent nature. She's hurt people before, yes. Let's keep speaking of some relationship. A failed relationship led to this intense action. You never know why people do the things they do, y'all. We will probably be blown away as the lighting went dark with that. Finding out why people do the things they do. It's mind-blowing, okay? And no, it's not an excuse, but we're talking about someone who's mentally unstable, who could not handle this particular event that came into their lives, caused them to go over the edge like this, okay? With many other issues as a child, traumas. Okay, maybe mother doesn't want to admit these things. Traumas, abuse. That has happened to her. Now, wait a minute, y'all, because Julian is saying, I see this. Now, on the other side, I see that she went through these things. Which is causing his heart to be heavy. Okay? Because he has a sense of compassion now and understanding. Something we really don't have here. We can't see through the veil, if you will, of why people do the things they do. But he can see her pain. And it's making his heart very heavy. All right. clues for why Julian Wood was chosen in his family. They were followed in that store, for sure. I told you they were stalked. She was watching them. And I feel they were having a good time, like laughing. This she was envious of. Because in her life, there wasn't much laughter. Things going on in her past. And this is about the past. It speaks of Julian's death. Just a baby, not understanding anything. Just a lot of doubt with why this happened, how this could have happened. There's so many scenarios and so many, theories, conspiracy theories and all that, of why, which is the question everybody wants, why, but if you really knew why, could you handle why? Right. I feel like she had been in the system, especially maybe dealing with mental illness. She was a stranger to Julian. Julian didn't know her from a can of paint. But I want to look further and see if 100% the family didn't know her. Because something is really odd, right? Done in the community, local community. You know, store parking lot, probably buy a lot of other things. She was going through a battle within. We could even be going as far as talking about sexual abuse in her past. There was a search getting to her when this happened. Let's see. Mistaken identity. Because in her mind, she's saying, I didn't do this. Physically, I did this, but and I know in the court hearings and stuff, she's smirking, she's doing this and that. She's only doing that to play up the hype, y'all, that she's crazier than what she really is. Okay? It's a game. But she knows she's mentally ill. She knows she has different personalities. She's feeling like this is what did this, not me. So I feel like her and the mother had a struggle. They fought. And what mother wouldn't fight for their child's life? But for some reason, it seems like the baby was targeted the most. Because, you know, he's smaller, he's weaker. This is so spiritual to me, too. Just evil, miserable people. And I feel, again, that this was prepared, the weapon, all of that. She had this planned. What she was going to do. And I just feel Julian did not understand or know why. What 3-year-old would understand something like this? It's hard for us adults to even understand something like this, okay? if I had to explain it, it's kind of like someone trying to find a way to put the pieces back of their life together, but they have no clue how to do it. And in some sick person's mind, they would think hurting an innocent person would somehow bring them satisfaction and gratitude to where they can heal whatever's going on within themselves. But that's not the way you do it. You don't go around hurting innocent people to fix your issues. But I do feel like the culprit was definitely hurt as a child, and I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm not. But there are people out here, a lot of people, and we know how the system is, y'all. We know how the mentally ill are brushed off. We know how they're misdiagnosed. We know how they are treated in society. And I feel like she just felt like there was no help or no hope for her. Okay? But to do this act, not only do I feel it was a cry for help, but how do you explain things like this? You know what I mean? A person who's severely hurting inside, who has trauma, who doesn't know which way to turn for help, who does this act to feel like this will actually satisfy whatever's going on inside her. But that's not how you do it. That's not what healing is about. Healing is not about hurting others. It's about going within and doing the work and the healing and self-reflection that you need to do. It has only made matters worse. Now she is facing time, possibly. Now she's got even more icing on the cake to deal with because she's killed a baby. Now that's always going to be with her. So that's another trauma she has to deal with that she caused. So in no way, shape, or form is this the correct way to go about this. I'm telling you, when you go out here in this world, you think, oh, I'm just about to go, pick up something to drink or a book to read or whatever have you when we call ourselves running errands, right? And we really think, oh, what could really happen, This could happen. Because there are people out here who are sick. There are people out here who are unhealed, who have suffered traumas and things in their lives that have not been addressed or dealt with, let alone confessed. Okay? So you don't know who you're around on a daily basis or what's going through their head or what's going through their heart. You just don't know. So we have to stay prayed up. We have to stay protected up. We have to possibly start carrying things, y'all. I'm not even trying to be funny. But I think all women and all mothers should definitely carry something. I've always said that. So it's not to say if the mother would have had a weapon, all of this would have went in divine favor. Like, everybody would have been okay. And, that's how we would love to see the ending. But there's some real stuff going on out here. And this is really real talk. this was very traumatic. Even for, I feel, the witnesses that saw it, it was very traumatic. Because I get the mother fought, the little boy tried to fight back as much as he could. And I don't know why I just keep getting him saying why. It's just really sad. Well, Julian, I think now you do know why, and it's still not enough. It's still not sufficing what happened, and it never will. Never will. But she will live with this nightmare. I do know that. She can smirk and play, you know, funny in those videos and play that for the camera all she wants to. But I'm going to tell you something right now. When those cameras go off, she ain't smirking. Because these spirits are not playing about this little baby here. It was such an unjustified act and horrendous. It was just uncalled for. But the fact that society too, I feel like there was grown men around that, you know, she's a pretty big woman, don't get me wrong. But can you imagine? I feel they were scared. But I just wish one of them would have tackled her or did something, y'all. I don't know. But I think their minds were flipped because no one seen it coming. It was unexpected. I mean, it's Giant Eagle, not Walmart. So who really thinks something like this, you know? In the parking lot would have just happened like this. You know, this woman just flips out in a violent rage. And nobody knows why. So they're thinking, did they argue in the store? Was something said? Was something not said? What in the world led up to this? This was already pre-planned. She had already said in her mind what she was going to do. She had the weapon on her when she got to the store. She stalked them. She followed them. The more that she waited, the more she became enraged. She wanted to get this act over with and get up out of there. But that's not how things really happen. Because I get the store's pretty busy that day. And people saw this. They witnessed this. It wasn't playing that good because there was a lot of people in the store that particular day and also around what happened. Most of the people thought maybe, you know, they had an argument because people do argue in the store. I know it's crazy, but they do. Or maybe she knew her from somewhere, you know what I mean? That's what they thought. But I got in the previous reading as well that this particular family was targeted. The mother and the son. And it's really strange. And then also we're dealing with spiritual things. We're dealing with, you know, fate. We're dealing with, okay, this was meant to happen. So there are things that we probably can't explain in the physical realm of why. Because I just get him asking why when he was being murdered. And it's sad because we don't have all the answers sometimes, okay? There are spiritual things that we cannot explain. I feel like throughout the story, you know, she is very envious of the happiness being shared between the mother and the son. Yeah. Envious of happiness. Because she was miserable and she lived a very miserable life. And I feel the mother is aware of some things, but she's in denial. Therefore, she wants to paint a picture like, oh no, this didn't happen because of anything that happened to her. Or she had a good childhood, so no, I'm doing the reading, that ain't what's going on. So some things you like to tell us, you need to get to squilling. Because this family wants answers. And why your daughter's running around like a mad woman with a weapon. Right? Planning people's demises. We need to know the truth here. Of why she is severely mentally ill in this way. And why she feels like there's no comfort. She's picked up the phone many times and told you things she was going to do and things that she was going to seek out. And you, I don't feel, handled that properly. And it has cost two mothers their children. So let that be a lesson to those who want to sweep things under the rug for their children when they really, really need help. You know, they need help. But then again, where is help? I tell you the truth. Because I get when they prescribe these medications. What happens is, because I had a friend who was dealing with bipolar disorder. And what would happen is one doctor would give her a certain prescription that was actually working. And then they would give her another doctor who would change that, and then she would have different reactions to this. And that was like a vicious cycle that just kept going around and around. Now, she is deceased now from not that drug, but pharmaceutical drugs, okay? And I remember she would confide in me about that. Like, you know, I was really doing good on this one medication, and then they just keep switching it up on me. You know. So this particular medications I feel that she was supposed to be taking had some really, you know, worked out side effects that she did not like, so she stopped taking them altogether. And that's where things, I feel, started going way left, okay? And also with this particular incident that came into her life with this love heartbreak relationship did not help at all. So this was very bad timing in her life. I'm not excusing it. That's not what I'm doing. I'm explaining the situation when it happened. She needed a lot of help at the time, and it was just not there for her. So she felt the way to ease her pain in her heart was to cause pain. You hear about this all the time. You hear about this all the time. People out here heard about whatever and take down other people because they see them having a good time or laughing or happy or in a good place in their lives. But judging it from a wrong angle, because yeah, people could be out here laughing, but that don't mean that they having a great time in their lives. They could just got fired from their job and said, look, I'm just going to go out today, forget about it, have a good time with my family. Nobody's even going to tell the difference. And then somebody would really think, oh, they're living a perfect life, not knowing the whole situation. So, you know, I do feel she should pay absolutely for what she has done. I feel it's unfortunate. Julian was only 3 years old, y'all. That is very unfortunate. And it's a sad reading. It really is. And it's really kind of hard to pinpoint as well, because it's very spiritual and it's very guided. And how do you explain that? But I'm going to see if he can give us a card to kind of get more clarity with the, and I'll show you the decks, the mindful messages, if you want to go purchase these or look them up. Releasing anger. See, that's what I'm saying. Anger is the natural emotion, but I recognize that holding on to it can be toxic for me. We were talking about this with her, okay? I look at the person who has caused me pain and see them as the human being they are. I release the anger I feel and free myself. Freeing myself and expanding to love. So instead of her choosing, we'll just leave that there. Instead of her choosing this, which is a very positive healing solution, and this goes for all of us, because we'd be sitting here lying saying none of us have anger inside of us about something, because that's a lie. We've all went through things that are painful, that are hurtful. And most of us are holding on to a thing or things that are causing toxic behaviors in our lives, okay? So we have to find a way to heal and release these things, okay? Positive things. So she's holding on to a lot of baggage, a lot of toxicity, a lot of anger, a lot of traumas that have happened in her life. And no, it's not an excuse. That's not what we're doing here. We're getting to the source. All right, like when we did Jeffrey Dahmer, you got to get to the source of why these things are happening so that we do not repeat them in the future. And we also find very positive ways to heal these things. So it's done out of a buildup of rage and anger and hurt and pain. This is really, really sad stuff, okay? And an innocent child had to be the sacrifice I knew this reading was going to bring me like a lot of deep emotions and anxiety. You want the clarity, you get the clarity, then you're like, wow, this is not a good feeling, you know, to have on your heart, because now my heart's heavy, his heart's heavy. Whole reading has a very heavy energy to it, okay? Now there's other people that are hurt. The mother, the family. Julian's hurt because someone else is hurt. Again, we have to do better, folks. Misery loves company, and this is a prime example of that. Someone who was very miserable with her life has caused and inflicted pain on others. With that said, with a heavy reading, with an emotional reading, I thank Julian so much for coming forward. He's such a brave little boy. And I get he fought. He's so brave to be 3, seriously. He has a very good heart, a very warming spirit about himself. And he did not deserve this at all, okay? And I thank you, Julian, for coming forward and sharing the emotion, because it's more like, it's not really a reading per se, even though it is. It's more of an emotional compass of why this happened and what we need to do to prevent things like this from happening as much. We need outlets and places and healthy things for people to release these feelings and these traumas. There's different ways. There really is. There's a woman who, I'm not, doing a commercial for her or whatever, but I seen something like this. It was very interesting. So these clients come to her, and she makes pretty good, money doing this too, let me tell you. And they come in and they release their childhood pain and traumas. It's kind of like a massage parlor, but you're not getting a massage, right? You're laying there and you're like getting these emotions out. And you literally see these grown adults laying there in like fetal positions, where when they're releasing this, they're releasing stuff like arthritis, things that these traumas and this pain has caused health-wise. And oh yes, it does cause many ailments and diseases. It's a fact. And just watching this is just mind-blowing, because you're like, wow, we need more of this. We need people to feel safe, to be able to go somewhere and actually get these things out, And I thought it was a very healthy, different way of doing things, besides just slapping a label on a pill bottle and just saying, take this and your whole life will be better and everything will just disappear. It doesn't work that way. If life was that simple, come on now. There's people that's been going through stuff since they was a baby. It's not going to be an overnight thing. But I thought it was very interesting, her method of doing this. And to actually see it in action, you know? That people out here are really hurting, y'all. It's a fact. But again, I thank Julian Wood for coming forward and sharing this information. It's very enlightening. Very enlightening, okay? And this is all about emotions. It really is. It's a very emotional crime. It's a very emotional reading. It's like, it's not one of those that are like super spooky or you're like on the edge of your seat, but it's still something that needs to bring awareness, okay? And it's very, very enlightening. And again, you know what to do for Crime TV. Like, share, subscribe. I thank you for all the viewers. Next, we will be doing Jocelyn Nungary, which the 12-year-old who was discovered in the creek by those two men who, not by them, but the two men who murdered her. And that should be a very interesting reading. We also have a rapper named Enchanting. These are requests. Also, Julian was a request. Then we have two that we're going to definitely need your seatbelts on for, which is Michelle Blair and Maxwell Anderson's reading, which these are very two dark energies that I'm going to try to, oh yeah, they are. I'm going to try to get those out, okay? So we're doing this in order, in an orderly fashion. I know it's not always when people want them or how they want them, but again, I'm only human. I'm doing the best I can to get these out. That is the list we have for the week. I love you guys. Thank you for your patience and everything. And we will get to some very good videos coming up for the week. And again, I thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Love you guys. Have a wonderful night. Thank you, Julian. You also have a wonderful night for coming forward in this reading. Good night.